Hello, welcome to Control, a game that I wasn't sure until this morning that I wanted to play. And I want to talk about that. First of all, this is not a review, this is just going to be kind of an impressions video, I guess. This is very soon after the beginning of the game. I hadn't planned on streaming any of this, which is the only reason I wasn't streaming this earlier or recording it or whatever. But I gotta say, after starting the game, I was pretty impressed with the presentation and the flow of the game. So I wanted to go ahead and share these, probably the first like hour and a half of the game. But before that, I wanted to get into my history with Remedy and why I'm playing this game. So this is Control released, I guess, like 3 weeks ago. We're in November 2019 right now. And I don't think it's been selling very well, or in fact, hardly at all. It didn't have a terribly robust marketing campaign. It was revealed. The game, as you can see kind of from the design even of just this area, it has like a very muted and downplayed atmosphere. So I'm not sure that the trailer made a big impression on people. I think fans of Remedy, which, it's a small but vocal minority, I think Remedy fans were paying attention to the game. But I don't think a lot of people really got the word out, and I guess it's kind of been a busy summer or year, fall, whatever, and I feel like this game is getting lost. Anyway, I myself was not really sure about whether I wanted to play it. In fact, I'll put it this way, the trailer didn't do anything for me. I'm not a huge fan of Remedy, so I probably wasn't going to pick this up unless it was, way down the line, in the event of a deep sale. But I just haven't had a lot of love for Remedy games. I respect them, and I respect their fans, but something about them just doesn't quite work for me. To be honest, it's been down a lot of times to like player movement and how kind of awkward it feels. It's a little bit better in this game than like Alan Wake, but from watching people play Quantum Break, it just, it seemed they have a weird quality too. I don't want to get into that too much, but anyway, so I hadn't really planned on playing this game. Now there is a streamer that I watch, Just Playing, who is a big Remedy fan, and she did like Quantum Break quite a bit. So I knew that she was planning on playing it, and I basically was like, oh, well, I'll just watch her stream, no big deal. I'll get my Remedy experience through her. Well, to be ironic, she ended up not liking this game very much, and I'm pretty sure has given up on it. I guess she might come back to it, I don't know. But I think from what I read in reviews, that probably might have to do with the fact that, she basically streams every time she plays. So she was having this experience of like, working her chat and viewers into the experience of playing this game, which, if you can't tell from the incessant dialogue coming from, I guess, these people, or I'm not even sure. This is a pretty busy game, and I was surprised actually when I turned it on that it's pretty oblique as far as like what is happening. You kind of get, this is still a tutorial, don't get me wrong, but it feels like you're getting thrown to the wolves a little bit. So, and from what I've heard, it has a Metroidvania-esque structure to it, with there's a map, but supposedly, I read this in a couple of reviews at least, people were saying that you really have to like kind of pay attention to the environments in order to be able to navigate to the places you need to go. Now, so that has interested me. I would also add that the game has a Dark Souls style save point where basically your progress is just automatically saved. So, you know, you quit out of a menu, but otherwise you're just kind of, it seems to be anyway, that you're just kind of playing. And there's an attractiveness to games that have that kind of quality where you just feel like, you know, you're just moving forward through the game. Obviously, I expect this game to be more focused than Dark Souls and more story-driven. Another reason, actually, I decided to stream is because I figured if I'm going to put my headphones on, I might as well stream. And part of the reason I need my headphones on is because I'm honestly having a little bit of trouble with this game's audio. I don't like to use subtitles because of my dyslexia. I find them very distracting. But I might actually have to just go ahead and turn them on for this game because I feel like I'm not really getting the audio. Actually, let's go fool around with some options. And I'm going to have to turn the music down a little bit more. And I guess we'll turn down the effects. I've had this issue actually with a few PS4 games. Red Dead 2 was another one where I'm really having trouble hearing, like even when my the television's volume is set at maximum, I'm just having trouble hearing stuff. And you know, a lot of these games don't have like a master volume, so I don't know what's going on with that. I don't, you know, it's not something I see people complaining about, but I feel like a lot of modern games are too quiet. Whereas when I play any PS2 ports that I have on my PS4, or the games I've been playing on my PS3, like I have to turn my display down to like 25% because everything's too loud. So I don't know what's going on. In any case, in this game, I get the feeling that I'm going to want to hear a lot of the dialogue. And of course you can't rewind a video game, so you gotta catch it the first time. Hopefully that won't be an issue. I'm gonna try to play without subtitles a little bit longer, and hopefully we'll hear everything correctly. But yeah, so anyway, I bought the game this morning. It was discounted, a discounted bundle that includes the upcoming DLC, which is another reason I was unsure about the game. I was like, well, it kind of sounds like the main game is incomplete, and then you have to play the DLC to get the story. But now I have access to everything, so it's a moot point. Now, let's see. I'm still... So I have this basically like general mandate to explore. And like I said, this is a tutorial area. So we're just kind of getting started. Central Executive. The map is pretty weird because you can't move it or do anything to it.
Hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
So the game has this kind of structure where you're finding documents and you have to go into the menu and read them. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but I'm hoping that it'll pay off to have this kind of separation. So I'll go ahead and read this note for the benefit of the video, but I don't usually like to read. Federal Bureau of Control, that's where I am right now. How to handle unscheduled visitors entering the lobby. Start with the following. Welcome to the Federal Bureau of Control, established in 1964 as part of an effort to strengthen government relations. We are proud to serve the United States and our people as we strive for transparency and excellence in all aspects of our esteemed nation's infrastructure. Very vague. If they do not leave, then ask them these questions. Are you here to see someone? Are you from New York City or just visiting? How'd you find this place? If their answers are sufficiently harmless, explain that this is a secure federal office and that they'll need to leave. If their answers seem blank, escort them to a private room. There, perform the gunner's psychological assessment. If their responses are within the acceptable range of deviance, see the provided scoring sheet, then redacted immediately. Remember, there's no such thing as too suspicious. So, as much as Remedy likes to have these type of documents in their games, they're usually like really well written. It's just, it feels a little antiquated in 2019 to be going into menus to read, but you know, depending on how often it's used and how it's done, I'm okay with it. They put a really like high amount of detail into their world building. It's really commendable. I think that's what makes their games so enjoyable. Whoops. The game does have some performance issues. I'm playing on a base PS4, so that's all I can speak to. Examination of Paranatural Topics, Urban Legends. Summary. Urban legends are believed to affect the creation of altered materials, but can also dictate the characteristics of an altered world event. Urban legends are understood as a modern evolution of Jung's archetypes. We recognize certain redacted and formed by our own redacted and popularized by our media. We have additionally proven that urban legends can even be artificially redacted in popular culture using Redacted, our Bureau-made anthology television program. Once the seeds are sown, human imagination exacerbates the details. Certain paranatural phenomena contain clear elements of popularized folklore, AWEs, I forgot what that means already, that only occur on Redacted. A pair of scissors that consume human Redacted through two punctures on the Redacted. These details, living in the minds of so many, have been given strength through belief. Urban legends are not just stories for children, they are paranatural realities waiting to happen. Refer to file 4-93-6942 for full report. AWEs that only occur on a pair of scissors that consume human through two punctures on the neck, I guess? Is that a reference to a vampire? It's kind of hard to say. Okay, I think I'm going to turn the music down a little bit more. Obviously, that's not a comment on the quality of the music, which I think is really good. Hmm? Okay, I didn't hear anything coming from there. Pretty creepy. Wait, what? Upstairs? Is it this way? I mean, I can probably just jump over that. I guess that's a one-way trip. Okay, action. Oh. This is where we get into what I don't like about Remedy games, where for some reason the shooting has always felt like really floaty. And, alright, so wait, hang on. How do I heal? Get, ooh, the, house. Okay. How do I use items? What?
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it.
Hmm. More damage. Seems better. Yeah, so, it seems like that would be a minor thing. I can't think of many games, or certainly like developers, that I habitually think of as like, you know, their controls being a problem, but for some reason Remedy just seems to hit a perfectly bad place for me.
Holy shit. You did it. We did it.
Can you hear me? Are you with us? In the Bureau? Still sane?
Okay, so this is way more Souls-like even than I thought. Interesting. Interesting.
Is it safe to come out?
Okay, so yeah, this is wow, surprisingly Souls-like. All right, who's talking to me? Director's office.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
Her feelings mutual. I'm Pope, Emily Pope, Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie? Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting. I should have lied.
Shit! You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
Director Faden. Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Somehow, this hostile force, this
Hiss?
that works. Somehow the Hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full line. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you. You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot. Ah. I found his body. And the gun. Do I tell her about the suicide?
The service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, he keeps appearing to me, saying things. It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted.
You did that. And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown, before you became the new director. How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet. A janitor let me.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions. Probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the Hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Pope. I don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of. Yes. I can try. I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together. Okay. You with me? We did it before. Push the hiss out.
Okay. I'm guessing that's over there. Yeah, so obviously, like, really great facial animations. Good. Just the overall, like, presentation in this game and, like, atmosphere. Really top-notch. Probably helps that I just finished watching season 3 of Twin Peaks, which came back after 25 years. So I'm kind of primed for, like, really weird, heady stuff. But still, this game is obviously, like, really well put together. Examination of paranatural topics, control points. Summary. Control points are locations that the Bureau has identified as being vital junctions of the oldest house. The oldest house is the building I'm in, which, by the way, is a building in Manhattan, which is invisible to most people. So you kind of have to, like, I guess, be chosen, but also choose to find it. It's not exactly clear. You know, I think it's one of those things you kind of just have to go along with it. It's basically like a haunted house. you know, when the appropriate harmonization devices are arranged around the control point in the redacted arrangement, the surrounding area will not experience any unforeseen building shifts. These control points are discovered by redacted detection of an unobstructed ping using the redacted within a 37-foot radius. Numerous researchers have attempted to define control points, calling them nerve junctions or bonfires, redacted, or vulnerable spots of the oldest house. Sorry, drinking a couple beers here. Common factor in these theories is that control points are susceptible to external influence, which allows us to stabilize the oldest house and work more confidently inside it. Theoretically, this technology could be extrapolated to stabilize the oldest house as a whole, but testing has found that certain parts of the building refuse to be redacted. Refer to file 7-25-2788 for a full report. Alright, so now you should know why I don't like to read on stream. Can I close this? Oh, I bet this game looks amazing on the PC. Looks pretty fucking good on a PS4, I gotta say. You know, there's some like dithering, and a lot of the textures take a little too long to load. I know there's an option to take out that grain. I'm kind of thinking about it because it doesn't actually look that great, but I'll leave it on for now, I guess. But yeah, there are the occasional performance issues. Hasn't been a game breaker yet, but I'm not usually a fan of stuff like that. Alright, actually, I'm gonna take a quick little break before I do this. Be right back.
Too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
This manifests in human hosts in numerous ways. The most common and least intense form is seen in many corrupted agents floating throughout the Bureau. The Hiss agents have maintained their human appearance, undergoing no obvious physical transformation. The most notable distinction from an unaffected human is the fact that they levitate. These Hiss have displayed no aggressive behavior. They only seem interested in vocalizing the strange incantation ad infinitum. Perhaps these vessels are only meant to propagate the Hiss corruption like spores or Wi-Fi boosters. Or are they cocoons preparing to enter their next stage of evolution? When attacked, Hiss agents disappear, perhaps entering a state of invisibility or undergoing a transformation into a purely resonant form. Research is ongoing. See, that's interesting because on the right, if you look, it says by order of director Jesse Faden, but you just became director. So yeah, they're kind of playing around with time. It's interesting. So there's my bonfire. Let's look around a little bit. Now there's music. Pretty ominous music. I'm not sure I would tune into that radio station very often. Still, even with my headphones on, I can't seem to get the volume very loud. It's so weird. Huh? Wait, what? Refined reading. Assets. Materials. Are these crafting? I thought I was getting like health, but I guess I'm getting some kind of crafting material. Let's see what that's about. So yeah, if anybody's watching this, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this game. I'm surprised that it hasn't been doing very well, because I thought that Remedy had a pretty good little fan base there. I guess it proved a little smaller. And it's strange because with this game they've branched out to more consoles, whereas, you know, for a while now they've been doing Xbox only. And now this game is just tanking. Even though I said earlier that it's been a fairly busy year, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like they went up against like Red Dead 2 or something. It hasn't been that crazy. Maybe people were just saving their money for this month when there have been a lot of like pretty high profile releases. I'm not sure. Examination of paranatural topics, technological limitations of the oldest house. The oldest house imposes certain limitations on our bureau, but by far the most restrictive is the inability to use certain technological instruments. The oldest house does not allow devices that receive or emit any blank signal. Radio waves are the only transmittable signals in the oldest house, and even those are often unreliable. If the power of collective unconscious is taken into account, it could be that certain pieces of technology are too new in the cultural redacted for the oldest house to redacted them. Similarly, these items have not been known to become receptacles for altered status. Technology may be moving at too fast a pace for the redacted to occur. Modern technology tends to disappear and break here, sometimes quite violently. Redacted agents have been injured by cell phones exploding in their pockets while entering the oldest house. Interesting. Delays caused by house shifts do not count towards overtime. Funny. So yeah, I'm always kind of sad to see a decent game get overlooked. I guess you could say unfairly overlooked. But I don't think this game deserves the horrible sales numbers that have been getting reported, unfortunately. So I guess based on this like 2 hours that I've played, I would say like this game is worth spending your money. I was glad. I don't know that I would have bought it without the discount, which includes the DLC, because I do think I've heard that the game feels. I mean, I guess you can finish it, but I've heard people say that in the end you kind of feel like you haven't seen everything, right? And the DLC's coming, so I guess that's gonna finish the story. But I think it's a little underhanded to release a game like that, you know. Listen, I know you can't control building shows, but the executive level restroom has been missing for weeks now. I worked my ass off in the Islamabad station for 3 years. I've earned the right to a nice workplace shitter. If you can't bring it back, at least find out where it went. D. Rodriguez. Let's play. This might be a game that would have maybe benefited from a demo, or God, does anybody do demos anymore? I think they're useful. They seem to be useful back in the day to just kind of play like an opening level of a game, and then that game can be altered basically to not include information that you don't want to include. I'm thinking of the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo disc that was included with Zone of the Enders. That seemed to work out pretty well for that game. Recoil. I think I'm good on recoil. Health recovery on element pickup. Okay. So yeah, pretty chill start, which I appreciate. I feel like a lot of games are trying to get you up and running a little too fast these days. Of course, the game's concept kind of necessitates that you take your time and think about it. I'm going to go ahead and turn off that film grain. Well, I'm not sure what that did. It looks the same, actually. Alright, let's talk to this lady.
I can't cleanse them. It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director. Jesse.
I'm gonna tell her why I'm here. I'll risk it.
Listen. The Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago.
Ordinary?
The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing. I've been looking for this place for a long time.
That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of an Altered World event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child? It was one of the big ones, and before my time. and very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hedron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us. A few of us. And Director Trench would know.
Trench. The ghost, or whatever he is. He mentioned something called the Hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone. A direct line of communication between the director and the board. Maybe he can talk to you more clearly through that. Trench has years and years of experience. He might know how to destroy the Hiss.
Where is the Hotline?
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's the head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
They call me the director. That's not me. I'm not a director type. Not a leader. Why am I here? I think you already know. Yes, I came for my brother, but there are other reasons too. I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them. I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough. No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the Hiss destroy it all.
I know this is on YouTube, so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know. There are no stupid questions. The door to the comms department is just outside the boardroom back in the lobby. They should have gotten it open by now. Follow the signs to the mailroom. You can get to the hotline containment chamber through there. Good luck, Jesse. See you back here once you have the hotline.
Thanks, Emily.
Wow, I'm just blown away by the presentation of this game. It's so amazing. Yeah, let's...
The hotline should be in the communications department.
Okay, so this is interesting.
Where did the Hiss come from?
I'm not sure. You said the Hiss was here when you entered. Did you see anything like that outside before you came in?
No, just inside.
The source is internal. See, the oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The Hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the Hiss to destroy it.
With you on that, Emily. You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
This building, the Bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place. You've seen it. It transcends its physical limits.
I've been to New York a few times. How didn't I notice this place?
It's an attribute of the building. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't like attention. Unless you're purposely trying to find it, you don't. Which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to be noticed. And we need strong walls to make sure nothing gets out.
So without you, I never would have found the front door. Okay. This trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me?
I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense. An echo, maybe. See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data. That's just a hypothesis on my part. I'd need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that, given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah. Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all... well,
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this? Got it. Thanks. So, HRA stop you from becoming a hiss?
It seems that way. I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. Each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. His behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
Thanks, Emily. I'm sure I'll have more questions.
Just let me know.
Okay, so I guess well, let's open this up. I'll play a little bit more. I feel like I've given a good introduction to the game. I don't want to, like, spoil a whole lot of it. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I spent just a little bit under $60 to get the whole bundle, so, you know, which is on sale on PS4 right now. And the game is shaping up to be pretty good, and I have to say, I'm looking forward to the rest of the game. Looks like the game needs some help, some sales, so I guess if you're on the fence, okay, yeah, the map is not very helpful. Yeah, if you're on the fence, I guess now's the time to do it. But anyway, I think I'll leave the game or the stream at that and not spoil anybody too much in the game. But yeah, surprisingly, like, different and interesting. I didn't think the game would be this impressive, to be honest. I wasn't. I didn't get much out of the trailers, to be honest, and I gotta kind of blame the marketing. I don't think it did a lot to, like, really push this game and be like, hey, this is something, you know, kind of special. We'll see. Maybe by the end I will feel differently. But yeah, again, so far, enjoying it. So let me know what you think if you have any thoughts at the bottom, and I'll see you later.